Welcome to another episode at Kynotalk by Kynotec, and this is a premiere. I got sweaty installing all of the equipment, and it's not even so fancy. So we have a little camera, the microphones, and the laptop as a setup, and it almost killed me. But I'm very happy that Wim and Annelies, who is the recording director for now, take some more time staying here for just a short recording. We have spent the past few days, 3 days in total, training together. You guys visited us here at our new location, which was great. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I hope you liked it.
Really did. We learned a lot, and we had some ideas that we can take home with us to work and to progress again. So thank you very much for sharing all the things we need.
Yeah, I think the sharing stuff is the most important thing. Yep. Otherwise, no one will develop. And I could always learn from you guys when I could visit you in Belgium and train with your team. And yeah, it's always taking and giving, right? Or giving and taking, however you say it in English.
A bit of fun as well.
Yes, definitely. I really enjoyed it. So we have already had another recording. I can't even remember when it was.
Me neither. I think
it was online.
In the beginning, no, it was not online. Where was it?
I'm pretty sure we did it online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember.
But never mind. I will put the episode in the show notes. So because in this episode we're talking basically about you and who you are, what you do. So Wim de Kinder from Holporte Hundeschule. Yeah, right.
In German.
Okay. So why did you take the journey? Why did you come here? And maybe you want to explain a little bit what we ran through.
Okay. Yes. We had some issues with. We wanted to start up DigiDoc in general. So all what is electronic storage or evidence device or whatever is covering that subject. And we needed to decompose every piece of the puzzle before we started. So I had to buy and search and gather some stuff that are the components of the whole picture deduction search for. And that we did at home in correspondence with you, of course, because we had some online meetings as well. And we got the material, and then we said, shit, how can we start? And we asked you to help us out, and that's what you did. So we did some testing, in fact, on which odors we needed.
Yeah. And parts. So first of all, I think I'm good at scent detection, but I'm not a digital device detection dog expert, not at all. I have supported some teams from different police to improve their training, but up until now I never started a dog from the very beginning myself. So what I did a few weeks ago in California was talking to Cameron Ford, who has quite some experience in doing it and who was part of the game in the very beginning, I think. And also I know Graham Atwood and Stefan Petersen, who both are really into this topic. And unfortunately, I was texting with Stefan, but he was too busy, obviously. So he said, yeah, sure, just give me a call. But I never really reached him. And he didn't answer, which is totally fine, hopefully.
In the future?
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't talk to Graham about it, but I know that he's an expert on this as well. So I thought with all the information that I got from Cameron, with that we're good to go. So you got some stuff to start with, talking about the different odor components, and that's what we did. But and this topic for itself is very interesting, I think. So we could spend more time talking about it, but maybe we will do that in a year or something when
we progress,
when dogs are fully trained and we found out some new stuff. But what I wanted to talk to you right now, apart the fun 3 days that we have spent together is the work with our training with the machine, the detection dog training system by Kynoscience.
Wonderful.
So you have experienced it the first time. And what are your thoughts about it? Maybe you give an overall review, and then we start at day one and level up until today.
If I have to mention one thing, that is the human interference in the learning process, which is not present with the machine. Because we will talk about it later, but the first day we only worked with the machine, and then at a certain point I had to interfere by putting my hand in number 4. Even that went wrong. So the first encounter with a human interference was already. So that's my number 1, that the learning process is not mixed up or messed up by human interference. And we first got some expectations of the machine, because it's a metal box with 7 holes, 3 above and 4 underneath, and we put just food and expectation on the box, and then the dogs run, take the food, so they got used to the total picture, the image for the dog. That was very fast, right? We ran 3 dogs of our own, I think. And they all got the same pattern, so we can say that it's a good system that will build up your progression time very well. And after the expectations are fulfilled, we started putting some odor. There are 7 holes, and there are 2 metal cans behind every hole, and the machine moves the 7 holes to the 7 pairs from left to right, according to an algorithm that is randomized by a program on tablet. That's the whole idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then after a certain time, we put in some odors. So the left ones, we put in the odor, if you look into the machine from the front side. And the right ones were always filled with a distractor. In this case, it was always food. So we got 7 food distractors and 7 left cup holders, or what's it called? Metal
cans
with 7 components of our DigiDog odor.
But we even started with Kong for every dog, just because it was more convenient.
I jumped in.
So and also to introduce the dogs, like we had 2 dogs that were already trained as detection dogs on the training odor Kong, and maybe some other odors as well, but that doesn't matter. And we had a puppy that yet has not started the indication training. Your gorgeous, or Annalise, gorgeous German Shorthair Pointer female. How old is she now? 4 months?
5 months.
5 months. Okay. And so she was like a raw dog, and the others already learned to sniff, as like search, find, indicate, and that actually makes some of the work more difficult. But in the end, overall, the dogs progressed really well, and maybe not at the same speed, but in the end, they all were plus minus at the same level. So we did 3 or 4 different chapters of the progression plan. So what we started with the machine, and to explain it to the listeners who don't know it that well, is that the machine gives us the possibility to have a dog learning himself new odors, because we can decide whether 1 or 4 target odors are presented, and the dog sniffs in the holes, and when he hits a hole, his nose is like crashing a light bridge, a little laser, and as soon as the laser of the correct hole is not continuous anymore, the machine understands, okay, the nose is in, an indication is given, so there will be a ping sound, and this ping sound is the reward announcement, the secondary reinforcer, and the dog will be rewarded. We could change between food or ball, but we decided only to work with food because it's more convenient. I think it makes more sense,
It's
really.
easier. It saves a lot of time.
It saves a lot of time because we don't have to take away the ball. The dog eats the food and moves back to the machine to continue working.
It's important to say that the food comes into
in German we say Sautalk.
Yeah, so
it's like
it delivers the food and at the
it's a bar. It's a bar.
Yeah.
Where like we have 3 food disposers and 3 ball disposers, and they're just the dog hears the bing sound and the food will drop into this bar.
We decided not to take the balls because it will be too excitement. And
exactly. So I messed up cool with doing the ball reward. Yeah. So, and this is how we can use it. So then the dog just starts. So we reduce the possibilities of positive odors down to 1. That's what we've managed in 3 half days, actually, because we mainly spent the mornings on the machine. And we also raised the indication time up to 0.5 and even 1 second for a few trials. So the different part from our normal detection work is that our dogs should sit there or stand there and take their heads back, because we don't want them to interfere, touch, manipulate the surface or the odor sources. At the machine, it's different. The dog should learn in the contact machine to keep their noses in the hole to disconnect the light bridge.
Signal. That's what we saw with Tiff. She indicated the hole instead of putting the nose in along.
But the cool thing was, and this is like talking about the last day, that the dog already had an odor recognition.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I wanted to say now in the very beginning. We did 3 or 4 phases of the chapters. First, we started with conditioning the bing sound.
The bing sound.
Right. So
first expectation, then bing sound.
Yeah.
Then
actually, yeah, you're right. So we started with putting food on the closed holes, so the dogs could work on the machine. And
we saw at the visual that she was a bit frightened of the machine and
the mechanic sounds.
The mechanics moving,
And if the machine is turned off, no holes are open. So the 2 pairs behind the surface are closed. And when we switch it on, it's either the left or the right sample. And the left sample is always the correct one. The right sample is always the distractor. But when it's turned off, it's like closed. And so in the closed frames, we put some food to make the dogs check the machine.
Yep.
And that was quite easy. I think the dogs enjoyed just eating and running over the machine.
And another advantage is that from the beginning, we put food as distractor. So
that's right. Yeah.
Which we don't do enough in normal training.
Because it's always present.
It's always present.
And then we conditioned the dogs to the bing sound. So the secondary reinforcer bing, which is new to the dogs, was trained there. And even there, we ran into problems because we had to do it. It's like we had a setup, and a helper decided where to put his fingers to disconnect the light bridge to make the machine does this sound. And the dogs should learn when they hear the sound that food will drop down into the bar. And sometimes we had trouble with it. Yeah, exactly. And we added some additional food sometimes so that they realize, okay, here and there is the food. This went fast. We know that basically classical conditioning takes about 80 plus minus repetitions to really connect in the dog's brain. But our dogs many times show us better, and they understand context very fast. So the bing sound was something that they could grasp to. And what was the next step?
We added the common known odor being Kong. And we put different amounts of Kong in a jar.
Yeah.
Next to the food, and 7 holes with 7 jars with Kong behind. And so the dog we launched the dog towards the machine. And all holes were open. So only in the beginning we had 4
correct ones
and 3 non-correct ones. And if the dog hits one of the 4 and puts the nose in, even without any second, just touching the light bridge, would the bing go off and the food would drop in the bar.
Yeah.
So he had 4 positive and 3 negatives. A lot of chance to hit the bing.
And that's why we started with just putting food in the holes or in the frames, so that the dogs understand, okay, to check these black ellipses.
Because they didn't check all the holes from naturally. So we had to help them a bit to do from 1 to 7.
And why should they? Because like, exactly. So as you mentioned before, some of the dogs knew the odor, the puppy did not. So for the puppy, it was totally new. So with the puppy, we had from the very beginning a conditioning on the training odor Kong. The others knew Kong already, so they could really search for something. But what was new for them is that they got the reward announcement and the reward food just for finding, which is not a bad thing. Because actually, I think then later on in detection training, as soon as we have fulfilled or accomplished the odor conditioning, we tend to only train on staying in the indication behavior rather than sometimes rewarding the decision to indicate. So that's a cool thing also for fully trained dogs, I think.
That was day 2, I think. Like morning 2. Or did we do it on the first one with the Kong already?
I don't remember. I think we did it already in the first day.
So it went
and
really
the end
fast.
of the first day,
Yes, because we introduced all the odors from the DG dog the second day.
Exactly. At least the Getxen tubes.
The Jetson tubes.
Today we added the new real target odors. So
we had 7 Kongs.
We had 7 Kongs, different sizes, and that's another advantage. Like I always say in my detection dog training, talking about consoles in detection work, lineup samples, etc., or search boards, to prepare at least 3 to 6 different samples of the odors that you want to work with. At the machine, we have at any time 7 samples to work with. And automatically we have slightly different amounts, intensities, and we could even do it on purpose that we have like Kong, but it's new one, old one, small, big.
Places as well.
It's dirty, it's clean, it's boiled, it's naturally from the shop, blah, blah, blah. So we can help the dog generalize a lot faster and quicker on the odors. And so then the dogs ran through the program, and we could take many different setups. Maybe you want to talk something about the setups that we did in the very beginning, like how many repetitions and how long the dogs should indicate.
They were fatigued very easy, because we always did reps of 10 searches, and we decided before the amounts, and the rest was for the randomizer on the tablet.
What do you mean by amount? The duration of indication?
No. The amounts of Kong in the
sure. Yeah.
So that was the first thing. Then we only had to hit it. Hit Kong, and we had 4 possibilities.
So hitting means the dog nose should just disconnect the light bridge.
Yes, that's the one.
So it's not about duration; it's about finding.
Just finding. Yeah, and they got 4 chances out of 7, and we ran 10 times with the randomizer. Decided where the 4. They changed it every time, and then we did 10 reps. We stopped, and then we analyzed and we discussed what could we add or change, or what's the problem, and then we adapted in the program. We have to learn the program a bit.
Yeah.
We still have to learn to work. And we did almost.
And we always did it in German, actually.
And we did it in German as well.
My settings are in German, of course.
Well,
but you did well.
And we did 1 time 10, 2 times 10, for instance, and then we discussed again, and we adapted again, and maybe we did 3 times 10, and we stopped because the dogs were exhausted.
Yeah.
But it's really fast. In maybe 2 minutes, we did 10 reps.
The 10 reps, exactly.
10 reps instead of moving bricks or lineups or sand wheels turning
and that's
missing.
one of the big benefits.
Yeah, it's so fast that it's so exhausting.
So, and we discussed it in the first day, like in average, how long, if we do a lineup of 12 boxes, how long would it take you to work through these 10 rounds?
If things go well, 10 minutes.
10 minutes a round.
Yeah,
exactly.
If things go well.
And
we make no mistakes.
That's plus minus the same thing. And we need different people helping us doing the setup.
With
and
experience.
So on. Right.
To move fast.
Everyone should know what to do.
We saw that in the mosh pit.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And because the problem with the lineup, and we still use lineups and we still do sand wheels, etc. But the thing is that the interference of the human being will always cause problems, because we might add a new odor, but we forget to replace the old one. And so on, or we put it somewhere else, not where the plan would tell us to set it. So that's what you meant with the machine. This machine takes away the risk of or the cause of human failure.
Yeah.
But we could still fail in the basic setup. So if we change targets with distractors, then if you switch that could cause a problem. And we had it once. We had it. So we had an explosive detection dog, and we had also Kong as a distractor. And then we trained with another dog, and we just kept the distractor samples. And of course, this dog suddenly indicated on a different number. The dog did well, but it was our mistake, right? So always check the distractors as well.
Yeah.
So, but of course, I interrupted as my nature felt.
That's no problem. And a few reps of 10 searches, and then we switched dogs. And again, slightly we moved from 4 possible hits to 3 to 2, even to 1. So that means that the dog had to, there's only one gate open with one possibility.
All the gates are open, but only one shows a correct
that's what
one.
I meant with that. Yeah, that's the one. But time goes fast, and dogs were really fast dogs. And we had to stop. But we added, the next step would be that we added 7 new odors, like the tube, instead of Kong.
Exactly.
That was the second.
To now work with the basic idea of the machine. So the machine can, or with the machine, you can train many different things. Actually, we basically use it for conditioning and calibration. So if we want to introduce new samples, new odors, or new samples from known odors, as we know, the bedbugs from the US smell different as the bedbugs from Sweden. The explosives from Czech Republic smell different as the explosives from Austria and the US. So that's why we want to use it as a generalization system. And the big benefit is we win time.
Yes.
We win a lot of time, because the 10 repetitions take us around 2 minutes. Even faster, as soon as the dogs know the work, right? So I showed you some work with my dogs.
Yes, it was really fast.
With Cool and Ignaz. And I always like to present those 2 dogs, because Ignaz is naturally, or basically Ignaz is always standing and staring, and Cool should be sitting and staring in the real detection work. But at the machine, both are just standing. Because it's faster.
So Tiff is a bit an exception then, but she said
no, she will change for sure.
Yep.
Sometimes Cool is also sitting down. It looks funny because he's squeezing his nose into the hole and trying not to lose connection and sitting down. But it's more effort. It's physically more effort. And Tiff showed it because that's what she has learned.
She recognized the odor and she sat down immediately.
And that was the cool thing. We wanted her to stick her nose in and stay there, but
the odor was stronger.
The memory of what she should do is stronger. So we already created an odor recognition. And that was the cool thing.
Yes, before the Bing even.
Yes. So the new odors that we introduced to the dog, she already indicated on them, even though she should have kept her nose inside. But so she's a well-trained detection dog, right?
Yeah.
She just needs to learn in the context machine. I keep my nose in the hole.
That's important what you tell them, because not only Tiff, but Tiff is used to sit and stare, and here she learns new behavior, new odors, new negatives, but also to almost touch the hide by putting her nose into the hole. On a brick wall, she cannot approach about.
Exactly.
I'll let her approach a centimeter.
Yeah.
On the wall.
And also there, this is like something for most people who learn about the machine the very first time. They get a little skeptical because they don't want the dogs to touch the samples.
Yeah.
So first of all, the samples are secured with the lid of the metal box, so the dogs can't touch it. Also, there's some distance, and actually, we could even do a setup with the pipe, with the curve.
Yeah, we didn't talk
to
about
have the distance even bigger, right? Or if you have liquids, you don't want to have it in the machine, so you stand it in the.
But I don't have to be fearful because it's a context-related learning process. You don't find that machine in some library or something. So I don't care.
And the cool thing was, so we should analyze, or you guys will analyze all the training videos. But what was
we will post.
So the co-driver can always watch videos while driving home and take some notes.
Well, we'll post some stuff.
But the cool thing was the puppy, because the puppy yet did not know an indication behavior.
No.
So the dog was really just introduced to his training odor.
Yes.
And she was very calm.
Yes.
Because she never was in this conflict. I find something that I know, but actually now I should show this behavior, but this behavior now doesn't help me. So what's wrong here? The puppy learned maybe the fastest in the beginning.
Yeah, she has no history, and she will learn the indication separately from the machine on walls or center wheels or lineups.
Yeah, and it's the easiest with puppies, as most things are. As most things are, it's the easiest with puppies. So our approach is working with the machine, and we definitely include the machine in the progression plans for the dogs that we train for ourselves or that we pass on to authorities, that if we know the new target odors that they should later on search, like my Labrador female, which is now around 4 months or something, she should be doing narcotics for a customs agency in Europe. So still we will start with Kong, but we will also introduce all kinds of narcotics
in the machine from different batches.
And exactly, and it won't take me a lot of time. So I will train on the machine. In parallel, I will train the indication stands there, find, indicate, search, find, indicate, different search environments. And the dog won't be confused because they learn this context to keep my nose inside, and this context I just show a sit and stare, or a stand and stare.
Nice. So, second day, we put 7 tubes, equal in odor, which is a mix of all kind of components that we don't know which one they are.
Yeah, we don't know. I didn't read it actually, and I've never asked Gregory. So we're talking about the get scent.
Yeah, but we trust Gregory. And we got 7 general DigiDog tubes we put instead of Kong, and we repeated the process. Instead of Kong, 7 tubes, and it went real well. And what we saw later on the third day, that the easiest one to indicate was the Jetson tube, because it was known from the second day.
Yeah, and that was how fast they were learning it.
Yeah, so they hit Jetson tubes the second day, let's say 3 or 4 or 5 reps of 10.
Yeah, no, I think we worked with each dog minimum 3 around 3 rounds at the machine. And
10
per round, we did 2 or 3 times 3.
30. Let's say between 70 and 90 searches in 3 hours.
3 dogs.
3 dogs in 3 hours.
And in between having some coffee breaks as well. So it's not like...
No, that's true. Because
right?
we couldn't continue that speed.
And that's something that we suffered from in the very beginning when we started working with the machine. That we thought, okay, we're so quick, but the dogs were not used to the pace of searching, finding, reward, searching, finding, reward. The dogs got really exhausted by these short little exercises.
Even today, the last session, we had to stop because they were slowing down. But we did the challenge.
In between,
we did some stupid challenge as well to have some fun and to distract the dogs because they were too concentrated. Yeah,
to give them a chance moving away from these cognition exercises and doing just some physical workout.
Yeah,
which is a good alternative.
The last from Tiff, she was panting so much.
Yeah,
but that's to work on as well. Changing from panting to sniffing and having enough physical strength and mental strength to continue.
I have to drop in this because of the panting and the quality of search. And you know, the strange thing is, none of us really knows how effective the dog still is with panting and sniffing. So we know that, first of all, we know that they can still sense odors by when they're panting.
Yes.
We know, or we think that throughout the closed mouth and the high frequent sniffing intensity, the dog will find quicker and easier. But we also know of the olfaction origin or senses, like the what's it called? Taste scent.
The vomeral.
Exactly, nasovomeral, whatever it's
that
called.
One. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
Discussed
and the dog can do that as well. So and then we see a dog that is panting and having an open mouth, and it looks like the dog is more running around than sniffing, but still they're fine. So not talking about the machine in general, and they can still find. So we have this picture of the ideally working dog showing searching behavior, and we have no clue about how it would feel like. And that's the weird thing about nose work. We need dogs because they can smell things we can't. Still, we think that we can teach them how to do it, and still we think that we know how it should look like, even though we can't sense it.
You corrected me when I told this smells the best, and then you said that's what you think.
Yeah, that's what you think. And so I totally got away from this. Of course, we have an idea because of us watching the dogs and our experience in how fast the dog can find, but in the end we don't know, and it makes so much like how much experience does the dog have, and how well can he still sense by having, how well is he trained in sensing odors with an open mouth. So I would be very careful, and that's why I dislike sport competition, because the judges will give you a rating on the search intensity. No one can tell me how intensely my dog is searching. There is no way to measure it. Or would you disagree?
No, not at all. Not at all. But there is a lot of expectation in our head by social media and seeing only perfect small videos of.
But you know what?
We do a competition.
You know what? From my experience, so when I start the dog, a young dog, like now, that dog, my Black Labrador, or you will start with your GSP. In the very first few weeks, months of doing brick walls and lineups, the dog will be perfect. Closed mouth, high intensity nose work, etc. And we think, oh, this is the Adonis. This is the Adonis of detection. But let them let them do their first tiring exercises, let them do their first real life exercises, because the exercises in the beginning of the progression plan are like somewhere between 2 and 10 minutes, and in this time it goes well to keep my mouth shut and smell intensely with my nose. But when we did the first deployments with our dogs, meaning to do this 5 hours a day, the dog of course learns, oops, the next day I do detection, it could again last for 5 hours. So from the very beginning, I will just do like a not a standby mode, but I will save some energy and not sprint the first 100 meters. Yeah. I will walk because it'll save me energy. So the dogs get rid of precision, but I doubt it. I doubt it that we would say they get rid of precision, but they still sense odors.
It'll be a bit slower and not a bit more sloppy, but still 80% of what we thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So, but I let the topic draw me away from the main topic. So we were at the second day
with the 7 tubes that acted like Kong.
Yeah,
clear.
Yeah. So we started with 0 seconds of indication. Mm-hmm. So as soon as the dog hits the correct frame or hole, he was rewarded.
For the listeners, it means that in theory, only one hole with the tube is present, open, and the other 6 are open with food distractors.
Yeah. But we leveled down from 4
to 3 to 1.
3 to 2 to 1.
Yeah,
exactly.
That were the reps we did before. So we ended the day with 7 tubes, only one possibility to hit the odor, and 6 distractors. Yeah. And we wrapped that 10 times in one session, and we did several sessions.
And then we also leveled up in the duration. So we quickly started to make the dog keep the nose in there for 0.5 seconds, and that's
harder than all the rest we did before. Every dog had difficulty to keep the nose into the hole for half a second, which seems sometimes longer
and sometimes shorter.
Yes, sometimes shorter in our head. Yeah, I don't know how.
So the first few exercises we did, the repetitions, like half a second was like felt forever.
Yeah, it felt like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
and number 5 could be 5 seconds, and number 6 could be immediately. Yeah, it's still the machine that decides half a second.
But so the thing is, when we're watching the dog, like sometimes the dog is already in front of it, and the nose is at the frame but not behind it.
Yeah,
you know, and the dog is like standing before it, and Tuska had this problem that in the beginning she didn't want to put the nose inside, but then she was like always putting the nose deeply inside.
Very well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when we did that the second day, the dogs, I think, got really secure. So they understood the system.
Yep.
On the second day, already at the first day, but on the second day, they entered the room and it was like, okay, I know what to do.
Yeah, they saw the machine and they immediately and it's the second day.
And they were still running inside. So that's a good indication.
That's a good indicator. Yeah. Yeah. It's still half a day work. 3 hours work with breaks with several dogs that switch one to another. Yeah. We even run from the machine to the car and back to be even faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are as crazy as our dogs. At least some of us are.
And in the third day, today we added the real targets, and even then we realized after the first 1 or 2 rounds of 10 repetitions that there is already a recognition happening
from yesterday.
From today, because today we added the new odors.
Yeah, but the easiest one was the 1 tube.
Exactly. So we had the 6 new ones and 1 known one.
Yeah.
And what I thought is cool is that so we did the 2 dogs with the digital devices, and we did 1 dog with Kong. So we always had to change our setup.
Yeah.
But every time we changed, we also replaced the one, so that the dog is not getting used to that. On the 1 is always tantalum, on the 2 is always the green or the yellow or the black one, right?
Yeah.
So the dogs always had to learn that
recognize the odor.
Yeah, it's not about the memory.
No.
It's about finding targets.
Yep. So that went really fast. So our task should be that we generalize to contaminated odors. Yeah. And then micro SIM cards, micro SD cards, everything clean and used ones. And then we can put them later on into cell phones or cameras or whatever holds some electronics. And that's the whole idea behind Digidog.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. I think bed bugs are easier than this one.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a complicated odor, and we have to decompose it before recompose it again.
Yeah. And you also have to really think about what kind of Digidog you need. Yeah. Is it mainly on saving devices, data saving devices, or is it like an electronic device detection dog? So yeah, it really depends on whom you will be working for and what kind of criminals you're searching for. But that's or not the criminals, but the profiling. What kind of people are hiding what kind of stuff and where, and what you want to find. So in the end, today or the past 3 days, we started your dogs on the machine, and we got them on the odor conditioning with their new target odors. And yeah, that's what we use the machine for. Yep. We introduce it to the dogs, we make it fun, and then we use it for odor conditioning and also for the calibration.
To give an example, when we train at home with some of our groups, we do 3-hour trainings with 5 people. And then we can do, if we're really fast and well, we have some experience with setting up lineups. We take 30 searches for every dog in one training. So we did today about 100. It was not clear because
somewhere around. Should be. Because the difficulty in looking at all the analytics is it depends if we what I filter, like do I filter 0 seconds or 0.5 seconds? So that's why the numbers changed for the past 3 days. But we did around 90 to 100 repetitions with each dog.
In the same amount of time.
Yeah.
With the same amount of
time. Yeah, and you will get better and better. As I told you, Chris did in the one lunch break, he did more than 100 reps just in lunch break, just in 3 short exercises.
Yeah, that's impressive.
We do 75-minute lunch breaks at our
training
internships or classes. And in this 75 minutes, he worked his dog 3 times on explosives, just on a machine. And that's the cool thing. So the cool thing is then, as you saw me doing it with Cool and Ignaz, that I get them to the machine. We have all the presettings set up. So that's the only thing that takes some time. But if you're good at it, you will do it in a few minutes. And then you let them work. So you can just sit down, you can read the newspaper, you can talk to someone else, you can have a phone call or whatever. And the dog will work through it. And as soon as so you can set up 10 rounds, 20, 30, or 40. And as soon as these rounds are done, the machine will close.
I recall the dog and discuss and plan a new randomized search round.
So is there anything that you would change
to the machine?
Yes.
I'm not experienced enough for the moment.
So nothing that would come to your mind?
No. I would have loved to, but that's another discussion, to launch a ball from time to time, maybe near the end of a session. But that will
tell you this will be.
It's bullshit, I know.
Useless.
But that's the only thing I would have tried to see what that gave. But I trust her judgment, and I'll keep on. Change, I don't know the machine enough for the moment, and it has a really good impression. I got a really good impression, I think, of the possibilities. To run out of the machine, it will take me some time. So
yes, sure.
It's impossible. It will progress, I suppose, it's a work in progress like everything.
Yeah.
So they will change left and right some things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all. For the moment, I don't change anything because I don't know.
Yeah, there's some. Actually, I think yes, I will. I would change some things in the interface of the app.
Yeah.
So there is a button, and we supported some of the dogs that when we wanted to prolong the indication duration. The dog again fell into their old known behavior, meaning sit and stare. So then we supported them sometimes to manually release the reward button. And that only works when the dog has already been in the correct hole, then you can hit it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And since the app or the interface of this little tablet is quite small, I would like to have one big button that I just hit because I have to watch the dog. I have to watch.
Buzzer.
Yeah, exactly.
Add a golden buzzer.
Yeah. So that would be great. But, and that's the funny thing, sometimes people forget that even though we work the machine, we can still use all the other consequences that we have been training. So when I prepared my dogs were putting the nose in and we train up to 4 seconds, the indication. And when I thought, okay, the dog is now showing a 1 second, 2 second indication, I just throw in food from behind. And then the dog could even have a second reward for the already found one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or we use a secondary reinforcement and reward the dog at the handler or by the handler.
Yeah.
So these things still work. It doesn't mean, like, starting the dog on the machine does not mean that we just lean back and do nothing.
No.
Starting the dog means that we use everything that we have to keep the focus on the tool, like the toolbox, but also to not forget how we can support. Like they don't have to find out everything their own, as we help them with pointing with our hands from empty, hit, just also to follow our hands and to create relevance in pointing because we point somewhere where they will find something.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time to let them search all the possibilities, all the holes, because they might hit 5 in the beginning and then it's done, but they have to do the 7 holes.
Yeah. What I really enjoyed is that Chris and me struggled the first few days training with this, and like we were really excited, and then we got it, and day one, maybe this was not a good
idea. Yeah,
you know, because we were stuck in our program that works obviously, but then we were confronted to this new tool that worked different, and we were like, is it really worth changing our own habits? Hell yeah, it is. So fuck those, don't show weakness and try something new.
Don't show weakness.
And I was really happy to see how fast your dogs are learning this.
So that means that you progressed a lot with the machine, learning to work with the machine, because we benefit from what you did before.
Yeah, I think so. I think that we are now a lot better. And also last week we had a unit here, military unit who did exactly the same that you did. They had 3 days, had 3 full days, and we were just running dogs on the machine and conditioning explosives. And
so we might consider,
as it is from time to time, you get better, right? Hopefully, otherwise you have to change something.
Yeah, but I trust progress.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there was progression.
Yeah.
So how did we end the sessions today? What were the dogs able of?
They got the nose in. They recognized, none of them made false alerts. That was something really interesting because I was always wondering, and that's one thing. So they learned with distractors present. They got longer, not the classical indication, but the nose in the hole. Nose in the hole. And they learned 7 odors in one morning session. So that's the benefit we got out of it.
at least 5, because one they learned the day before, and then we had 2 times the same odor.
Yeah, but we changed the amount.
Yes, exactly.
I switched to a quarter and 3/4.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I could recommend everyone.
And the indication length, like Tuska, I think, indicated for 1 second.
Yeah.
And 1 second doesn't sound a lot.
But it is long.
It is long in the beginning. And as we said, we will level up the dogs up to 4 seconds, maybe sometimes even longer. But then I would really question, why would your dog have to indicate that long? But 4 seconds is a nice thing. Most of the times I train my dogs to do the 2 seconds or 3 seconds. And that's also a cool thing. So as soon as your dog is able to indicate for 2 seconds, we can have an intermittent duration. So sometimes the dog is rewarded immediately. Sometimes they have to wait half a second, 1 second, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So it changes as it randomly decides where to place the new target. Yeah.
Because in real life later on, there might be a sloppy indication as long as you know where.
Exactly. The handler should be able to understand, right?
Yeah.
But also this is a legal question, because depending on the country that you work at, the judge will ask you, why did the dog not show the behavior that was trained?
Correct.
But we are not that far yet here in Europe. I don't know of any country where it would be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was the introduction to the machine.
Yep.
The dogs presented better and better every day. I was really happy with the thing. And for sure, I was like, at the first day, like with Tuska, she was like, oh, the machine is moving and makes strange sounds and food is dropping out of nowhere. It was like a really creepy, right? It seemed like to her, it's like a Geisterbahn.
Yeah, she was scared.
Yeah, like in a theme park, the horror train that you take. But today she was like chilled, and she knew what will happen, right? So that was really nice to see. And I hope you guys will do a short video of the first 10 rounds, then the second day, and then the third day, and how fast this dog improved.
Yeah.
And I would like you to send me the video. I will do a
small comment.
I will do some comments, maybe talk to it or add some stuff and upload it and add it in the show notes, depending on how fast you will do it.
Yeah.
And if it's not yet in the show notes, when you're listening or watching this, you will find it on our YouTube channel.
Yep.
And on social media for sure. Yeah. So this was the machine, the detection dog training system by Kynoscience. You can buy it. You can see it here. You can buy it from us. So we are the vendors of the system all over Europe. We have a very close relationship with Hans Ebers, who is the developer and who is one of the canine trainers in Europe, meaning for police work, etc. So he is an original for sure, and he's a great guy. So big shout out to Hans and what he's doing.
Big shout out.
And the great tool. We even have a new tool that he built. It was in this ammunition box. It's a rabbit pull machine. So it goes pretty fast, and you can attach a tuck or a rabbit tail or a fox tail, and have the dog tracking, and then you press the button, and then zoom, and you want the dog to stay on track, for example, and not chase the rabbit. Or we yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. So you put a Makita battery on it, and it runs with that. Okay. So pretty cool thing, and you can also like train the recoil from fleeing prey, for example.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
So that's what. So he's really a guy, an inventor.
Yeah. The first thing I saw when you opened the machine was, shit, how long did he take to develop this one?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and it's a great concept for sure. It can improve, so that's why I asked you what to improve.
Yeah.
I think like in the golden buzzer for a quicker reward. Also like some of the corners are a little sharp to touch.
Oh, yeah.
But this is just like how to touch it, to use it, to manage it. No, I think apart from that, it's a really cool tool, and in my opinion, this is the future in detection work.
I think so.
No doubt.
For professional.
Yeah. So on the one hand, you can fasten or become faster in training your dog. On the other hand, it might still take the same time, but the odor recognition will level up, will skyscrape. So apart from that, we did a fun challenge. We did the Reifen challenge, which is the tire challenge. So you build a tower of tires without rims, and you drop in the ball and you let the dog jump inside the black hole.
The video will follow.
The video is already... Yes, Tiff was very good as well. And
that pushed you and your dog.
For sure. No, that was really fun. And right now the champions are at level 4 tires. Ignaz did 5, but he didn't return with the prey.
And he was stuck with too big for the tire. So I have to buy bigger tires at home.
Buy some tires. Yeah. And the other thing that we did was the mosh pit, but I will not jump into this topic. You will find some videos of the mosh pit on my YouTube channel. So already on the YouTube channel, you also did some video clips. Maybe you do something with that. You just use it. I think it's a very fun exercise and a very, well, how to say, you can put a lot of topics, learning topics for the handler, for the dog. But let's not dive into that, because then we will talk another hour
tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Anything else to say about the training, Wim?
No, it went perfect, and it's always good that an eye-opener to have someone else tell us when you did wrong, or because that's what I miss at home. That somebody else with other eyes can tell me without judging, just by friendship. Look at this or look at that, or change the handle.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I need.
Yeah.
I remember that from trailing and tracking in the beginning days, that we were at the beginning of that 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. Nobody told us, so we needed at that moment also someone to coach us a bit. So that's what you do for us. So thank you. Big thank you.
You're very welcome at any time. Yep, it was a pleasure. Pleasure having you guys. And also it's I really appreciate it that you, because we were both in the same trainer classes. We were both in the same, or we are in the same trainer further education at the SWDI.
Continuous formation.
It's something that I have learned from Jens. Stay curious, and like
don't be jealous.
Our learning will never stop. So I really appreciate it that you guys come here to train together. So last but not least, there is a question I ask most of my guests.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. No,
so
actually,
I will be gone.
No, you will get a question, but there are some special episodes where we don't do the questions.
Okay.
So, but in these interviews I do it. And the last guest that was asked a question and who could pose a question was Daniel Janet. He is from the German company Avias, which is an aviation security company. So they do all kinds of security jobs, but also canine work for the Deutsche Luftfahrt, which is like what is it? Checking all the cargo and stuff at the airports.
They are busy.
So his background, it was being a canine handler and trainer at the German Army, at the Bundeswehr, and also at the working dog school of the Bundeswehr. So he quite had some stations already. And he's also a sports judge for IGP. So he's very knowledgeable. And his question is, because I have to translate it from German now directly to English. What can each one of us do to keep up the working dog world and work against the shitstorms on social media, and in general work against the shitstorms in our community?
It should be easy, because if everything you learn and you can share should counter every shitstorm that will come in the future as well, because we will have an answer by sharing all the knowledge. Because you got talented guys everywhere, but not always wanting to share everything. And by sharing, everybody got lifted, and the comments will die.
And first of all, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think, first of all, sharing does not have to be for free.
Yeah, of course.
So we share many things for free, with the podcast and with the videos on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram. But of course, this is our job, so we have to earn something from it. But as you say, we have to share it. And like Chris and me, our goal is that our clients will become better than us. Probably. And this is the never-ending challenge, because we don't want that to happen. We want that to happen, but we don't want that to happen. So we have to improve ourselves all the time, so we can't lean back. And that will make us develop and do things better than we used to do them. Yes. And being fair to the dogs, and minding animal welfare, etc. So Austria has a very strict animal welfare system.
Yes,
and which is not always smart. Like some things were decided by people who are just warming their chairs in their office. Excuse me. Sharing your knowledge and just saying how it is.
Yes, and don't be afraid, because hiding won't make you better than another one, because there will always be others that are better than you.
Sure.
And they will surpass you.
Yeah.
And you are still in your little home, hiding all the knowledge.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So when I share, I got something somewhere, and I win also.
For sure.
Of course, the financial part should be some kind of normal, so we can stay alive.
Yeah.
To share.
What is your question for the next guest, not knowing who it will be?
I didn't think about one. Should it be on this topic? So maybe one with the machine.
It can be about business. Yeah. It can be about dog training. It can be about women, food, men.
And maybe in general, could a machine become better in detecting odors than a dog? Could it? We will always need dogs, I think, because we cannot bring machines everywhere. But suppose that we can, do we still need dogs? And now I say something stupid, but do we still need dogs? Or can we, in the future, with AI or something, develop machines that can at least a part of the dogs, get rid of a part of the dogs? You always need special dogs to do stupid stuff. But maybe the normal, like on an airport, maybe we can use machines to detect. I don't know.
Probably.
That's a real issue for.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's for the next.
And I always hesitate to answer those things in my way.
You don't.
But I will. So I think the dog is not stoppable.
No,
because the dog cannot be hacked. And everything else, every chip that was produced in the eastern part of the Western world can be hacked. You know, everything is produced somewhere in the east, and we are like Big Brother is watching us.
Mm-hmm. But standard task could maybe be introduced.
Sure.
And
there will be
with detecting
like technical sensors will improve, but still the dogs can sense things that we would have not. I thought it was they are better than millions, $1 million expensive technical devices, if they're trained the right way, and that's why we have to share and improve.
And we lose the human aspect and the bonding with the dog.
Yeah,
and stuff
sure.
Like that. But not all jobs, but maybe some will be automated.
Good. Well, Wim and Annelies, thank you for being here. It was a pleasure having you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun.
Yes, it was. We will return. We have a lot of work to do at home.
Yeah.
And maybe we will share next time.
Yes.
Because we will find some stuff and you will find some stuff.
Sure, sure.
And we will become better.
Yeah.
We do. And we will meet a lot every month.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
I missed the last time.
Yeah, me too. Because they put it on Thursday and
yeah, my Tuesdays don't work.
Yeah, and my Thursdays don't work. So I have to find someone.
We are too busy.
Me.
Yeah, and I haven't yet watched the recording. I will. But
don't tell him.
Anything that you want to promote or that you have to announce for your own company?
Yes, we will split off the pet holding, all that is related to pet holders, and we will start up a professional division. We're still in the progress of developing. We got the names and the stuff already.
That's cool.
But we will.
I also got a sneak peek to the logos.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a vision behind it. But give us some more time to get better and better.
Right.
But we will slowly do it in Belgium because there is a lot of work to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I will do some promotion for Kynotec, of course. We are starting with another detection dog handler class in January next year, which will last for around 7 months. And we will start the second class of detection dog instructors in April 2025, which will last for 12 months. Also, you can at any time buy our webinar recordings. So we have several German ones from the last year and from this year. And also from this year, we have 4 webinar recordings for online lectures in English that were recorded at the Michael L. School for Dog Trainers with the production of 4 canines. So I'm very happy that Cameron did the recordings. Nice. And it is in English. It is about detection, it is about foundations, and it's about search and rescue. So if you're interested in that, just check our website or Cameron's website and buy the webinar. You will have access on it forever. The next thing is our online progression training system. We have different kinds of topics, from detection to laser directionals to detection with training odor or target odor. We have the tracking program. We have foundations like play as reward, hunting game, chasing game, functional obedience, laser to search, laser to bite, and even more. So if you're interested in that, just check out our website or send us an email at office@kynotec.at. And we're happy to welcome you in our training system. Once again, thank you guys for stopping by. Have a safe trip back home to Belgium. And we will see you
next
soon.
week or no, a few weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye everyone.